following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's see you in the crowd, singing our songs, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point of all when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end.
It's Monday night, 7:30. Welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Royal Sports, principal sponsor of Birmingham City Football Club, in conjunction with our good friends at SAS Autos, the Garrison Coffee Company, and our good friends at Bordsley Labour Club. And of course, the Blues Trust, our newfound friends and family. Good one for you tonight, ladies and gents. A great return of a friend of the show, should we say, a friend of the show. Let's introduce you to everybody, Mr. Paul Hipkiss, one and only Mr. Sheen.
Good evening, all.
Roby Wonkanobi, the one and only Mark Adams.
Good evening, everybody.
Mrs. Brown.
Good evening.
On fan cam tonight, we've got Craig Hill.
Woo, 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 woo.
Hi, everyone.
Hang on. Oh, I've lost it now.
Oh, you only got one.
Hang on. Hang on. There you go.
And of course, most importantly, our special guest of the night tonight. We are so thrilled to welcome back the one and only Mr. Ian Danter, ladies and gents. Ian Danter!
Ahoy, chaps.
Welcome back, Ian. Great to have you back again, buddy.
Nice to be back.
It's been, what, a couple of years, hasn't it?
Must be.
Probably about 18 months. I think the last time we spoke, I think was in the Steve Cottrell era. I think it could be a couple of years
Could be.
when we would, the Red Nat transfer splurge was beginning to bite.
Oh, lots happened since then.
Yeah. So I think that was when we last spoke on this show.
Well, really pleased to have you back again tonight, mate. Thanks for giving me Monday night up for us. Blue nose through and through. Obviously, working down there with Talk Sports and a great radio career. But you were once a guitar. Go on, you tell them.
He still is.
I've got a few guitars here I can show you if the mood takes me.
No, but what did you used to do with guitars?
Oh, what did I used to do with guitar? I used to be a guitar salesman.
Guitar salesman, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Especially.
I'd like to talk about it much, but when I'm going back to the late 80s, early 90s, I worked in a guitar shop in Shirley for about 2 or 3 years. And then for 5 years, I worked at the world famous Musical Exchanges guitar shop in Snow Hill.
Yeah, cool. Nice one.
Guitar sales from there. And that was 92 to 97. Brilliant times working, selling all sorts of magnificent guitars and amps and things like that. And then I did work for about a year in a guitar distribution place in Cradley Heath, selling guitars to shops rather than being the shop. But then radio came along about a year after that. So
Spoiled your life.
What?
Spoiled your life.
Yeah, it did rather. Yeah, well, it changed it.
Yeah. Little known fact, actually. I used to deliver newspapers to your dad's house, didn't I?
Oh, right, on St Bernard's.
No, Castle Street, Warwick.
Oh, Castle Street. Oh my God. Well, that.
Wash down there. You had to get out the bath to have a wee in the sink down there, didn't you?
Well, no. See, Castle Close in Warwick. I don't remember because I was born there in '68, but we moved to Solihull when I was 3. So I have no recollection. All I was ever told about that was that there was a massive wall at the bottom of our back garden. If my two older brothers climbed over it, you were in the castle grounds for free.
You were, yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was told about that place, but I have no recollection of it at all, Nick. So
very nice, very nice part of the world, actually. Very nice.
Yeah. So I'm told, but I never got to experience it from that point.
Okay, on to the game on Saturday. Who wants to start this one off? Paul, off you go.
Just too little, too late. When he made the subs for me again, I know there was 20 minutes to go, but he should have done it sooner. They scored on the 49th minute, and for me, he should have made the subs then. But it just shows for me how far we've fallen in just like a short space of time. We've gone from signing Barnsley's captain in the last 3 or 4 years to sort of setting up to keep him out, if you like. And I don't know. I mean, if we'd have got a 0-0, would we have been disappointed? I don't know. But it was a great strike from the player, from their lad. It was a great goal, but from our point of view, let's have a go at teams. I can accept losing if we've had a go. And in some of the games that we've lost this season, we have had a go. But not Saturday. No, we just set up to park the bus and try and come away with a 0-0, didn't we?
Craig, what's your thoughts?
I think we've been, I suppose, a bit of a cliche, really. And obviously, I have to watch what I'm saying because I work for the football club. But I think we've been hard done by on a couple of the games. I've been watching the games, and I really, really do. And I do think our luck will change. And those people that text me after the games and get in touch with us and things like that, for me, I get it. I'm a fan, and that's one thing we've always got to remember. I'm a massive Birmingham fan, so am my family.
Yeah.
And I know with the players that we've got, I know with the manager that we've got, our luck will change. And I think the one thing that I'm going to say, and as I said, I know I'm probably sitting on the fence here, but the fans have got to stick with the lads because they're so passionate about what they want to do and obviously get us out the bit of bother that we're in. But yeah, I think the only message that I've got is for everyone to stick together because we will get out of it. The lads who are tight-knit group. It'll come good. It'll come good.
Fair comment, Craig, but we're in it again. Is it the third, fourth, fifth seat? I don't know. We're in it again.
Yeah.
We can't go on.
I agree. I'm a fan. Listen, guys, I'm a fan. Like it hurts as much as anyone. But I know we'll come good. So
you've got faith in Frank and the team, and you'll say we'll come.
I've got faith in the lads. Yeah, to see the lads and.
Okay. Everybody else, Mark, your thoughts. Have you got faith in Karanka and the team?
If you're asking me whether we'll stay up, I think we will by the skin of our teeth. Again, we say it week after week. We don't have a record like Karanka's and be totally useless. I know it's a bit harsh, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could look for all sorts of excuses. People are saying about the state of the pitch, but we've been poor away from home as well on other people's pitches.
Do you remember the state pitch when we played Ipswich in the?
I was coming. Yeah.
It was like 4 moles had lived in it.
Yeah. So I mean, again, credit to Barnsley though, they're a decent team. I think people were overlooking that on Saturday. People saying, "Oh, Barnsley," but they are a top 6 team for a reason. And I'd have snapped your hand off for a 0-0. I really would.
I was hoping that we turned a little corner. We got 2 out of 3. 2 wins out of the 3 prior to Saturday, and we beat Sheffield Wednesday, we beat QPR, and the game that we did lose against Norwich, I thought we did really well until he made the substitutions, which for me is what lost us the game. Without sounding too critical, I think that is what lost us the game. But Saturday for me, I just don't think we showed enough ambition to go there. We basically went there for a 0-0, didn't we? We didn't go there to win that game.
No, and I hate to say it, but I think Duke is looking a bit of a spent force at the minute. He just hasn't been right at all since his possibly since he had COVID.
I just don't think the if we're not going to play 4-4-2, then for me we don't play Djukovic because for me that's the only system that works for him. He's not a lone striker. He can't play as a 10 or a winger, obviously. So you have to play him with, for me, the way Gary Monk did and the way Pep Clotet did last season as well. When he teamed him up with Hogan, and I don't know why we're not trying that, to be honest. Now, try the 4-4-2 and the natural wingers with an attacking midfielder like a Halalovic with somebody like Sunic next to him, or Harper, Raheem Harper.
I'd get the reaction in for. Blues won't get out with a poor manager, poor players. The experts making an easy game look extremely difficult. Blah blah blah. 3 wins out of 20. Still haven't played 4-4-2 with wingers. Barring Dean's header, yet again we never laid a glove on them. Coventry winning the weekend just added to the pain. It's not the pitch. AK making on average 2.5 changes a game. No trust, no faith in Karanka at all. Simple. It really hurts knowing Rotherham have 3 in hand as well. Ian?
I'm extremely worried. I'm not as positive as, say, Mark thinks we'll get out by the skin of our teeth, and I appreciate that, but I just don't see it. I think this is 1994 all over again, albeit with a different feel around the place. I look at Karanka's body language, and it's just shrugging the shoulders all the time. And a team mirrors its manager, and that catchphrase has never been truer. When you look at that, they don't have an idea about how to change a game in their favour unless it's practically handed to them on a silver salver, like Sheffield,
did a couple of weeks ago.
Wednesday did. Sheffield Wednesday handed that game to us by getting Shaw sent off. And
I get that.
Even then, we weren't that much on the front foot. It just took one good ball from Bella, one good finish from Hogan, and that was 3 points. But other than that, we didn't create very much at all with best part of the second half against 10 men. Body language is horrible. I look for leaders. I look for people who'll grab teammates by the scruff of the neck and say, come on, and I can't see them.
No.
And that worries me. And Rotherham, having seen them admittedly lose at Bournemouth when I did a commentary on them a couple of weeks ago, they're more organised than we are, I have to say. When you look at players like Crooks and Smith, who work in tandem as a 10 and as a centre forward, and they've got Joseph Soon on loan from Derby, who's a speedy winger. Barlaser in central midfield, who's a good passer of the ball, was at Newcastle as a kid. They worry me that they're going to get the points they need to overhaul us, and Coventry, I think. So I think it's Coventry we need to be keeping in our crosshairs at the moment in terms of trying to overhaul somebody rather than Rotherham, because I think Rotherham have got the smarts to stay up.
And ironically, Ian, the Rotherham fans really do. They are raving about Wes Harding.
Yeah, I saw he played at left back and switched over at the Vitality, and it was nice to see him play again. And it was solid, unspectacular, but good and solid. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Didn't do anything out of the ordinary. But yeah, Wes, that's. I think we have to say that was probably the right move for him at that point. Would he be playing in this Birmingham side now on merit? Would he get ahead of Collin or whatever? It's debatable. I think Rotherham was the right club for him to go to. Let's give Wes a bit of credit for picking a club and finding a club where he could develop and play more football
and play every week. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we have an alter ego. We have an alter ego, Paul. We've had a suggestion for Ian Danter's alter ego. James May.
James May.
If I've heard that once, I've heard it 1,000 times.
I can see that. Yeah.
Oh, dear me.
It's not a bad one, is it?
I'll take it. It's better than Daniel O'Donnell, which is another one I used to have. Or Brian May when I had really long curly hair in my 20s. But I'll take James May right now.
When I was in the army, I was obviously slightly thinner than I am now, shall I say? And I looked just like Jasper Carrot, so that was my nickname, and it's still.
That's probably not a good one either, is it? Really?
I think I'm just thinking at the moment about the players that we've got rid of. I'm thinking of Michael Morrison. I'm thinking of Cliftonbald. Would they get in this team now? Would they get in this team?
Morrison, without question.
Yeah.
Without question, we should have offered him a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Rather than the 1-year deal that we offered him, and he would have stayed. And he is a leader. He is somebody that can run a back four.
Yeah.
He was probably still on a pittance because he was Rowett's first signing.
Yeah.
And he was on a pittance, I think, compared to other players that were at the club already at that time. And I'm not sure how his contract changed over time and whether he got a slightly better pay grade before he left. But I do think we miss him more than Cliftonbald. If I'm comparing the two, I would rather have I would have Morrison back in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And I'm thinking as well, if he needs to rest Sanchez and Bella, which obviously he clearly did on Saturday, or he decided to leave them out. If you're going to keep playing wingers, we've got Lecco and really that's it, isn't it? Who can play wide as a winger? Would you have kept Marabti and possibly Magoma for another season as well? Just to use to play, a bit as a bit part or as a squad player.
Marabti, I was never really sure about, but Magoma never never shirked a challenge, did he? Never shirked a game where he had to, get his foot in and get involved. I was quite taken with Jacques McHomer and what he did over.
That's really the type of player that we need now.
But, okay, John Keynes wants to know, just ask the question. We'll do a little straw poll between us, but also you just answer this, yes or no. If you're on the shout box, just answer yes or no. Karanka to stay or Karanka to go? So it's stay or go, stay or go. Karanka to stay, Karanka to go. Paul.
Right now, I think for me it's go. He's got it. Yeah, I mean,
so just want the one-word answer. Dance.
Go.
Mark.
Go.
Brownie.
Don't ask me.
And for me, it is the body language. So it is for me now. I'll go. Craig.
Oh, don't ask. That's not fair on Craig.
No, it's not really. No.
No, definitely. Stick by him. Yeah, we'll be all right. Stick by him.
Okay. No. It's all about opinions, mate. And I respect yours, and I do. And I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. Yeah? And I promise you that, and I mean it, because I want the best for my football club. I don't want to be in this situation year after year. And it's been a year since we've been able to go there. Huh?
He's clearly got enough about him, he's played the game at the top level. He's been assistant manager at Real Madrid. He's took Middlesbrough to the Premier League, and he was doing all right at Forest as well before he left. So I just hope that he can turn this round. And if they do stick by him, then next season, it's totally different. I'd love to see that, because I don't think changing the manager every 6 months is the way forward either.
Of course it doesn't. No. Don't hang your hat on this thing about wingers, Paul, and this notion that Karanka suddenly going to pick two wingers and pick Jutkiewicz, and he doesn't play that formation. That's
not his game.
I know.
He's 4-2-3-1
I know.
most of the time, and that's his thing. That's what works for him. So it's that classic case of trying to fit players into a system that he has, rather than looking at the players he's got and saying, right, what system works best?
Exactly.
That, to me, is fundamental.
Yeah. Dennis was going, just my vote was go, Dennis. Okay, this is. I'm just going to read either go or stay. Right, I ain't got time to read the names out. Go. Clearly not interested. Go. Stay. Go. Stay. Go. Stay. Go. And there you are.
Yeah. Is this a Murray Walker impression?
Go.
I thought it was the Clash.
I missed that.
That squad that we've got, when you look at it, it is clearly good enough to be higher up than what it is when you look at it on paper.
Yeah, definitely.
I think what Ian's just hit it on the head. You've got to sort of get your players and play to their strengths and find out what suits everybody best. And for me, 4-2-3-1 just doesn't suit Lukas Jutkiewicz at all, does it?
No. It doesn't suit Birmingham. It never has done.
You mentioned Jutkiewicz and the fact that he's looked a little leggy, Mark, and I think that's fair comment. He has looked a little leggy. Is that because he's not had enough football and he's not up to speed? He's not had a run of 3, 4, or 5 games where he can get himself up to speed. He might.
I hope so.
Of course, we hope. That's what I'm thinking. Does he need that in his legs? But unfortunately, we're not going to see a run of 5 or 6 games where Jutkiewicz is going to play up with, whoever, with Hogan as a front two. It's a lovely idea, and we all want to see it because we know what Che and the Duke did as a partnership. That's the obvious comparison to draw.
Yeah.
That's not. I talk
around. So is it a case of we're all waiting for this formation to work, and as to whether it's going to work in time?
We've seen it work. I mean, Reading away, Bristol City away. We have seen glimpses and good, in bits and parts. We've seen good things with it, but just not enough. There's no consistency, and I think that's probably down to team selection as well. He makes too many changes for me as well.
You go back to the there was a graph that I was sent online about 2 months ago about the 92 clubs and their points return in the calendar year of 2020. Birmingham was something like 88th or 89th out of 92.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's good.
It was only like Stevenage and a couple of others, maybe Grimsby.
Well, even they managed to beat us once.
They certainly did. So, and that unfortunately is carried over into 2021. Nothing has changed.
No, and this delves back before. It stems back to before Karanka was here, doesn't it? As well.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've won 8 games. I think we've won 8 games now out of over 50 in the calendar year. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's like we said it last week, but a year ago, after we lost the cup game at Leicester, Pep had gone 14 games unbeaten.
14, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd give anything for that now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
How many games are left?
11, isn't it?
11 or 12, yeah.
So that ain't gonna happen.
I mean,
Unless
keep
you've got,
saying it.
in which case you've got
We keep saying it, but-
games left if you're rather.
Yeah.
Another one is the long throw-ins from Roberts. Yeah. How many goals have we scored from them?
0.
Was it 1?
No, none.
None.
Well, we did. We
I think we
scored one.
scored,
We scored one down at Millwall that was disallowed wrongly. But we've never scored one that actually counted.
It's not exactly the Rory Dilapidator or the Andy Legg long throw that we all remember from Barry's days, is it?
No.
No.
As John Smith has just said, 14 minutes unbeaten would be good.
Yeah.
See, and Legg could chuck one in at the pace of a corner. It would fly in. It wasn't just the length it got. It got extreme speed with it as well.
Yeah.
There was a guy at Tranmere who was brilliant at it as well, Dave Challoner, who was one of the best
Yes.
long throw experts.
Who was the guy back in the day who used to take his throw in and his arms would spin around like that?
Can't remember.
Everton, I think he played for back in the 70s.
Oh, no one's as old as you are.
Anyway, that's one for the listeners. I'm sure they'll come up with the answer.
Let's bring Gillian anyway. Gillian, how long you work for the Blues, mate?
I've worked for the Community Trust for around about 14 years. Started off in the what was the Centre of Excellence.
You must have been 3. You must have been 3 when you started, think I.
35 now, lads. I'm knocking on
No. I've got underpants older than that.
40.
That's it. But no, I started off with, I know you had Marcus Paints on the show the other week. So me and Paints were in the same team growing up.
Yeah.
Obviously, Paints did a little bit better than me, kept me out. We played in the same position. And then from there, really just moved on, kind of went into some other roles. And then came back to Birmingham, around about 14 years ago. Been here ever since.
Crikey.
Yeah.
And like I said,
And Dave trying it with Hutchinson for Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, it was Hutchinson. Yeah, Hutchinson, Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a season? Did you come down as a fan before you sort of? Play?
All my family are Blues fans, so I used to go down with my mum and dad, and then when my brother arrived, I went with my brother, and they all still go down now. I go down now. My missus goes down now. So yeah, it's just it's kind of it's a difficult one because you're asking me questions there, and I see it firsthand, and I know it's difficult at the minute, but I know we can do it. I know we've got a strong group of lads, and I do believe in the lads. I believe in the manager, and like I said, I'm a Blues fan. It's tough for me to watch at times, but I think we just all need to stick in there, and like we said, we'll be all right.
I think ultimately, the expectation when he was appointed was for us to be a lot higher up than where we are now. And for one reason or another, it hasn't worked out that way. But yeah, I'm with you as well. I really hope you're right, and I hope if it is going to work out for him, and we are going to get better and improve, and longer term it is for the better. Obviously, I'm all for it, but I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned about relegation now.
Let's have it right. The question, stay or go, is it's all semantics because he's not going to go because
it's a motive.
Yeah, because Dong is. He is Dong's man, and therefore, whilst Dong is still in charge, if he were to dismiss Karanka now, that would be a huge climb down on his part, and he's already under pressure as the CEO.
It's got to be.
So I don't see it happening, regardless of how results pan out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think Karanka will be here come what may till the end of the season, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, sorry.
Chris, I look forward to the Tilton Talk Show more than the games at the moment. Nice one, thank you.
I was going to ask Ian, what was your expectations pre-season? You know, that initial press conference. What were you sort of?
Honestly, Mark, mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah.
I actually, in a perverted kind of way, I craved that after the years of torment that we've all suffered. I wasn't stupid enough to think, oh, that's it, we're going to, run away with it. Even though I think it's a weaker division than last season, by and large. I think Leeds.
I think you're right,
I think Leeds and West Brom were very, very strong last year. Norwich are coming on strong now, in fairness to them. But in general, I don't think the division's as strong in terms of the 24 teams that are in it compared to a year ago.
No.
But I do remember getting you tweet the message out that Karanka's got the job, and you get replies from Forest fans and Middlesbrough fans going, "Oh yeah, good luck, yeah." The sort of the sarcasm. And
we got Middlesbrough promoted. What more could you want?
Yeah, but you wouldn't believe the number of Middlesbrough fans that got in touch with me, Nick, and still said, "Yeah, you got us up, but it was dire. You got us up, but it was boring. You got us up, but it was."
Would you take that, Ian?
Yes, well, absolutely. Of course we would. So,
of course we would.
Of course we would. And the Forest fans were they were a little more positive about him, but not much. Their issue with him when they got in touch with me appeared to be more about how he'd spent his money in that January window, not long before he went. They were particularly enamoured with the quality of players that he brought in. So that I'd have been happy with 12th, 13th, honestly. And I'm not being clever or funny. That's genuinely what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Just a season of nothing.
Absolutely.
And not even dallying with the playoffs.
And then if it was then a 3-year plan, that's year 1. Year 2, you expect that progression, and year 3, you have to have that progression. Yeah.
Well, what we have to remember is that Michael Morrison, when he left, was pretty much the last of the Rowett era of players still at the club. So we've had the Rowett squad, the Zola squad, the Redknapp transfer splurge, the Cottrell signings, the Monk signings, the Clotet signings, and now the Karanka signing. Think of the mess that squad is in because of the different factions within it. I think that's a thankless task for any manager, whether it's Karanka or whoever.
Yeah.
Bring those different factions together. And that's where I think Rowett and Monk do deserve a great deal of credit, because they were able to pull warring factions together when they were in charge. They managed to get the leadership they needed. But I think it's a huge problem for any manager to solve at any club where you've had such a succession of managers, revolving door of managers, different philosophies over 5 or 6 years. The players will and Paul Robinson told me, the players just get completely befuddled by it all and confused by it all, because the philosophies change with the seasons, as in summer, winter, autumn, spring, not the football seasons, the weather seasons.
I don't think it matters what you do. If I'm in sales, for example, and if you keep changing the sales director and the sales managers, then the sales people are going to be the same, aren't they? They're going to feel uneasy, and they're not going to be able to settle, and it just change after change after change is just never going to give stability, is it?
No.
Steve Portman says the Forest fans I know were gutted when he left. And James Ahern, listen to this one. I think we all hammer Karanka, but the players need to screw the nut as well and have a bit of self-pride and perform better. They're professional footballers.
Yeah,
well
absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of individual mistakes this season as well that have cost us goals. I will say that.
And Brett Stanley, 3-year plan: relegation, promotion.
That was Barry's plan, wasn't it? Back in '94, which didn't quite come off, but
but it was fun.
Oh man, that '94
change tack a little bit now. Dan, Sorry, mate. Was you talking then?
Yeah.
No, carry on.
Go on.
It's all right. There was nothing coming through my speaker.
No.
You told us an amazing story because it's just over 10 years now since the Carling Cup final. And the story where you had to exit the stadium. So go from just prior to the goal.
Well, where I was there for Talk Sport, part of the commentary team. I wasn't the main commentator. I was just there as the resident blue nose, probably to be poked with sticks because they all expected Arsenal to, as pretty much everybody else did, to turn up and win. So I was just going to be the fall guy. And we were on the TV gantry, which was opposite the tunnel and the two benches. And so all the Blues fans are to my left. And so I'm sat with Sam Matterface, who is the commentator, Stan Collymore, who is the pundit, myself. Then there was our head of live sport sat just next to me, Villa fan. And then James and Laurie, also from our production staff, Arsenal fans, sat just a little bit further to the left. And behind us was the last block of Blues fans in the top tier as the stadium went round. So Martin's scores, and my professional mask slips, as you might imagine, and I go completely tonto. And James and Laurie and Villa Matt they just want to sink into the chair and just disappear because all around is complete bedlam from the stands above and everything. And Stan, in fairness to him, was really professional about it all, and actually teed me up for a really nice question at the end of the game to ask me about my dear late dad and my granddad. He understood how many thousands of Blues fans were no longer on the planet to see what they all wanted to see. And he knew that my dad and my granddad were, uppermost in my thoughts. And they were that day, as I'm sure everybody has a Blues fan they wished had seen that who's no longer with us. So anyway, Stan was top man. I know he gets a lot of clog, but at that moment, top class. So I have to very quickly get out of the stadium because I've got to go back to TalkSport to do a phone-in. And they've got a courier bike waiting for me on the other side of the stadium.
And that's at 7:00.
Yeah, 7:00. So the game finished at just before 6. So I've got to go round the perimeter of the pitch and get to the steps and get out. So I'm walking around the perimeter. I've got down to to pitch level. Walk round the Blues end, of course, and there's just people in floods of tears and hugs and cries. It's just a beautiful sight. It's in my mind's eye. I'll never forget it. You're just seeing the joy of thousands of people barely believing what they're witnessing and trying to take it all in. I was too. We all were just trying to take it all in as best we could. I get round to the steps that lead up to the exit, kind of near the tunnel, just as the Blues players are coming down with the trophy to start their lap of honour. And Alex McLeish sees me. He only knew me vaguely because he knew I was a TalkSport reporter and knew I was a Blues fan. I'm not even sure he knew my name. But he spots me as he comes down the stairs last of all, gives me a massive bear hug, nearly broke my ribs because he knew how much it meant to me. I then dashed out the stadium, ran to the Wembley Plaza, got on this courier bike that got me back to TalkSport, bang on 7:00 to do this phone-in, which was the best phone-in I've ever done in my entire most enjoyable phone-in. Blues fan, we were playing Keep Right On, to people on their coaches, so people just getting back in their cars. But there was an Arsenal fan that worked at TalkSport that refused to come into he was meant to be in the building doing production work for the show that followed mine at 9:00. He refused to come in until he knew I'd left the building because he couldn't
left the building.
idea of the grief that I was going to give him for what had happened. But the Arsenal fans totally deserved what they got that day. Nothing, because blasé from minute one. And
well, not from minute one. I'll tell you when they were blasé, right? Now, I was in that ground probably 2 hours before kickoff, right? I wanted every single minute. I had no expectations of taking that cup back to Birmingham with us, none whatsoever. But I was stood there with my three boys, and I just wanted to soak that moment in. This is a major cup final. It's probably the only time in my lifetime that that's going to happen. Yeah, we did the Leyland Daff, and that was very special in its own way. But this was a nationally recognised, internationally recognised trophy because, we get into Europe for this one.
Well, I was stood on that TV gantry, and I was like you, Nick. I was in position very early. And when the turnstiles opened, that end away to my left, boom, full within no time at all.
Oh yeah, the Arsenal side.
The Arsenal fans kind of trickled in, bit by bit. I mean, it was full by kickoff time. Let's have it right, but they kind of trickled in. There was an air of, oh, here we are again. It's Wembley. Short tube ride up from Holloway Head or Holloway Road, Holloway Head, and they come out wearing tracksuits, and they'd had this thing about Fabregas was going to go up and lift the cup. Oh, was he really? So that attitude seeped through to me about their approach and our approach as fans, and I thought, oh well, hang on, there's something going on here. I've got a better feeling about this than I did when I was driving down this morning.
Absolutely.
I don't forget the short video that was played as well before the game. Before the game kicked off.
That was,
Oh, brilliant. That's quality. That is so inspiring. That is. They should play that in the dressing room every week.
Yeah.
Do you know what sticks in my head? I remember being on the top tier, and I remember just after the goal, we've gone celebrating, we've gone up to get the cup. And I just remember being on that top tier, and I was right at the back, and I sort of turned back to sort of look outside the stadium. The Arsenal fans were walking past, and they were just looking up in absolute awe at Key Right On. And I saw so many of them with their flags, and they were just snapping their flags in half. But you could just tell they were blown away by it. They really were. And I'll always remember that. They were just looking up, behind the shoulders, looking up, and they were snapping their flags. Some were going ballistic, but yeah, it was just funny. I always remember that.
Best anthem in the world and the best fans in the world, and and every one of us deserves so much better than what we're going through at the moment.
Definitely.
Yeah. For me, Ian, the absolute pleasure for me, and I've said this so many times, was standing there with my three sons next to me, and when that final whistle went, we were all crying, we were all sobbing, and I just said to them, take this moment in. This may never, ever happen again. Just enjoy this next 10 minutes of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. Look at that. Look at them goosebumps. Look at them. Look at them beggars.
There were journalists in tears as well. There were, journalists and writers who, had either nailed their Blues colours to the mast for all us to know about for years, or some that were a little bit, less obvious about their love for the club. Because I had to go past the press box where the football writers were to get to the exit to get that bike. And there were floods of tears in the press box too. It affects those guys just as much. The moment away and right for not just the Mail, but the Express and Star, or the guys that work the local beat for the national papers. That was a sight to see, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, what a day. I mean, Darren Carter as well, his penalty in Cardiff always sticks in my head, that moment as well.
Yeah.
I was I was all over the place. Was you there, Gilly, at that one?
Yeah, I was at both. Cardiff was obviously a lot different. Wembley was unreal. One of my best mates was actually the kit man that day for Birmingham. He's now at Cardiff, and we were speaking the other weekend when it was obviously the anniversary, and he was sending me videos and showing me photos inside the dressing room, and he said it was unbelievable. As a Birmingham fan as well, to be obviously part of the staff on that day, he said it was absolutely unbelievable. He was telling me about Arsenal, like all you guys have just said. They're just kind of very, very blasé. Even after the game, they took the shirts home with them, but the rest of the training kit, they just left it in the dressing room. And he said it was really weird. I was listening to obviously some of the lads. I think Fozzie was on doing something maybe with you guys the other day, and he was talking about how Stevie Carr was in the tunnel and he was saying everything he was saying. And Carts was saying to me, he said that there definitely was an air or something in the air that day where Birmingham were going to win that game regardless. The fans were on it. The fans were on it. The staff were on it. And he said to me the other week, he said, we were going to win that game regardless. We were going to win it.
Yeah. And it was fair and square as well. It wasn't like a smash and grab, but we were the better team on the day, and we fully deserved it.
Is it the post? I think it was Keith. Was it Keith Fahey? Hit the post?
Yeah, the post,
Fahey hit the post, and we should have had a penalty on Lee Bowyer. you know. But going back to Carter's penalty, that moment for me was just unbelievable. You know, like the seasons that we'd waited in the playoffs to go up. You know, I think it was the 4th time of asking, and that was just some feeling when that went in. But
that day, I was working the touchline for BRMB because Tom Ross and Kevin Broadhurst were in the other opposite stand. Yeah, and I had these massive kind of Mickey Mouse ear defenders on that were like, you know, airport ear defenders that the engineer at BRMB had put speakers in, or so I could hear. Because if you were just wearing a normal pair of headphones like these sort of things that I'll just get up here, these sort of things.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of people wearing these sorts of things.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have heard a thing in that place because the noise was incredible. So they were like silencers. And if you might see, if you see the clip of the bench celebrate, even though the camera's going everywhere after Carter's penalty, you'll see little red ear defenders and me with me long hair going. But Jeff Horsfield didn't know that Carter's penalty was going to be the winner. Jeff had lost count.
Me too. Yeah, I was the same.
Jeff was on the bench and he turned to me. He said, "Is this to win it?" And I'm trying to compose. Yes. But Jeff, all the players on the bench had completely lost count of what the score was and what it meant. They were so caught up in it all.
Yeah.
Didn't Daz ask as well, the referee that day, and said, "If I score this, do we go up?"
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. I was just emotionally drained when he took that up, and when he took the ball up to the spot, and you know, I just remember 2 guys in front of us, like, and they just turned around, looked up at me, and went, "This will do it, mate," and that was it. You know, I just said it because I asked. I just said, "Is this it? If he puts this in?" And I mean, Jono, I'm not going to lie, I had a bad feeling in that one because when Jono hit the post, I didn't think it was our day.
Well, when Robert scored for them, when you and Robert scored, it's like, oh God, I thought it was game over. But luckily Jeff equalised. But I remember for Cardiff as well. Sorry, I was going to say with Cardiff, it was like being in Brazil. It was that hot in the stadium.
Sky decided the roof should be closed because they didn't want the sunlight because it was a really sunny day. You might remember. But they didn't want half the pitch in sunlight and half in shade because it would have affected the cameras. So they said to both sides were shutting the roof so that you could get an even picture for the TV cameras. So you're right. In actual, what you say, Mike, it was like Kuala Lumpur, wasn't it? It was just aggressively humid and close and clammy. Yeah. And that was at kickoff time. So after 120 minutes of football, it was just, you're trying to catch your breath. So it was a kind of portent of, things to come that I saw in Brazil, where
it was just so tense as well, wasn't it? And it was just such a stressful 120 minutes, wasn't it?
I mean, there was a different gut wrench against Arsenal. That penalty shootout was gut wrench beyond anything I've experienced in football before.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wow. Thankfully, it was before the smoking ban and you could smoke in stadiums, and I smoked there. I nearly went through a whole box of
I can't imagine you were a smoker.
At half time, right? I went through it at half time, and there must have been 400 Birmingham fans crammed into this toilet, all smoking. We'll smoke where we want. We'll smoke. There was loads of people stood outside and they were just shaking their heads and laughing. That's proper management as well, though, by the way.
Yeah.
They're going in with another one for you. Dan.
Sorry, Nick.
Another one for you, Dan, just before we come off this subject. That iconic overhead kick from John Gale in 1990.
Right.
Oh my God.
This is probably the only time I've been drunk at a football match.
I can't believe that. I
was in the Olympic Gallery at Wembley, so I was right up in the gods at the old Wembley. And I don't drink normally. I'm not much of a drinker, but must have had 4 or 5 pints, which is enough to get me all over the place. And I do remember the goal, but I don't remember much after the goal went in. I think I must have sunk another. But I was drunk as a lord when that went in, which probably normalised the goal. If I'd been sober and watched that going, I can't believe he's done that. But because I was 10 sheets to the wind, I thought, overhead kick, that's fine. I'll take that. That that was the day when Dean Pearce should have scored one of the great Wembley goals of all time and hit the ball straight at the keeper. I think one of the best sweeping counter attacks I can ever remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Dean Pearce was on the end of it, but couldn't finish it off.
Yeah.
I always felt for Dean Pearce because he's the one that suffered when Hoddle moved into midfield when we went 4-1 up against Swindon.
Oh yeah. Question to both of our guests from me. If you could go back and relive one game at St Andrews, which one would it be and why?
Go on, Dance. You go first, mate.
I'll have to relive the game. Well, I mean, there's a couple that spring to mind. There's one obvious one against the Villa in 2002, the Yankelman game. Yeah. But I think the Ipswich semi-final the year before, I went with a friend of mine, Mickey, who sadly passed away, Big Blue Nose Mickey Coyle. And we were in the main stand that night. And I don't think there's been an atmosphere like it since then.
No,
since
it was, I
mean, the Ipswich fans contributed hugely to that atmosphere as well because they packed their part of the railway end. But that was an extraordinary night. Yeah, the pitch was like a pudding, but that was an incredible night. I'd also an honourable mention for the game against Brentford in '94, where we beat them to get above the table. In 94-95, sorry, where it's the run-in. And Kevin Francis scored and turned his knee and scored in the open, and then Daishi gets the second. That was a brilliant night. I'd like to go back to that night because that gets the goosebumps going for me. A night like that when we had our destiny in our hands and we managed to do what we were meant to do, and then a couple of weeks later we beat Huddersfield and that was it. We'd done the job.
I think that's where the damage to the Cop has come from. That game, probably.
Probably.
It was bouncing. It was bouncing.
Yeah.
What about you, Gilly? What would you say?
I'd go with Dance. I think first time we played Villa, definitely massive moment. Obviously, as a Birmingham fan as well, for myself working at the club, Villa, and then I've got to say West Ham. I think in the
semi-final.
The semi-final, when Guard scored, obviously to take us to Wembley. Obviously beating the Villa, and then going on to beat West Ham, and obviously then ultimately beating Arsenal. Has got to be up there for me as well, definitely.
Even the Fulham game a couple of seasons ago, last game of the season, Robbo's last game.
Yeah.
Electric, absolutely electric. And Dance, you'll remember back in, did you start going in the 70s, did you?
Yeah, 74 I started going.
It used to be 30, 40, 45,000 in there. And believe me, I tell you what, and I mean this, right? You think those were atmospheres. My God, go back to them days. And that was something. It wasn't. It didn't just make you have goosebumps, mate. I tell you what, it made your hair fall out.
You had no room for goosebumps. It was so tightly packed.
I'll tell you which other one I love. When we beat Sheffield Wednesday to more or less secure promotion.
2-0,
When Seb Larson scored that worldie from the halfway line. And it was a really nice sunny day as well. It was perfect to go on the beach right after, which we did.
As a boy, I mean, growing up as a boy in the 70s, it was hard to take in the sheer volume of people that were going to watch, Trevor and Ken Burns and whatnot when I started going. I got more of a handle on it when Jim Smith was around. I do remember feeling really claustrophobic. It was one of Jim's first games in charge when he took over against Arsenal, I think it was. And there must have been 40, 45,000 in there. And it was, I can't have been much older than 10 or 11. And I do remember feeling a little scared, for the first, Oh
God, I was totally petrified when I first started going. I've never seen so many people. Never heard. I mean, how did that roof not just lift off the Cop when they started? Huh?
Yeah.
No idea.
And the sound quality in that old stadium was actually better than the one that we've got now.
Maybe so. Yeah.
You that don't remember, I'd love to go back to just one game, and that was the game we played them from across the city. And they all were in the Tilton at that time, and they all bought little pink and blue balloons and was patching them on the pitch.
I think I was probably at the last. I was probably at the last game that had a 40,000 plus game. I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Middlesbrough Cup game? I think it was 48,000.
Wow.
I wouldn't know, Christian.
48,000. Yeah.
I remember the Watford Cup game when John Barnes turned it on.
Oh, 84.
6th round tie.
Yeah, that was
80. What was that? 80.
84.
84. Yeah.
That must have been 40,000 that day.
Yeah. Chris, do you want to do the? Should we do the who?
Oh yeah. Okay. Right.
So what we do now, if you've not seen it before, what we do now is we've got a recording of an ex-player speaking, and we got to try and guess who it is.
Yeah.
Not Blues related. West Ham 1, Leeds 0.
Okay. Tell me, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go then. Who is this?
Well, you're always looking, you're always looking ahead to the next season. It's obvious the second years they're getting a bit anxious now, because it's coming up to that time where decisions are going to be made.
So if you think you know, tell us the first name. Sorry, the first letter of his surname, and let's see if our viewers can get it. So if you think you know, tell me the first letter of his surname, just so you know.
Do you want to play it again, Sam?
A bit fun.
Tough one, that.
Go on then. Here we go.
Well, you're always looking, you're always looking ahead to the next season. It's obvious the second years they're getting a bit anxious now, because it's coming up to that time where decisions are going to be made.
And that's Birmingham related, Paul.
It's not an easy.
Yeah, it's an ex-Blues player.
No.
No.
Somebody said Meghan Markle.
Okay,
Meghan
people.
No, it's not. No.
Down to the people. I ain't got a clue, as normal. Well, they were debating and deciding that one. Ian, tell us what you're doing musically at the moment.
Well, of course, in terms of live performance, it's exactly a year ago this week that I played my last gig, because I've been doing a theatre rock production called Leather and Lace, which is like a 7-piece band that plays classic rock tracks from the 70s and 80s and a little bit of early 90s. Toto and Foreigner and Journey and
some of that,
REO Speedwagon, things like that.
Yeah.
And our last show was in Felixstowe in Suffolk, and the drummers have stayed in their cases ever since that weekend. But I am in the midst of making a third solo album, because I've got 2 solo albums out. The first came out in 2013. That was called Prove You Wrong. And the follow-up came up in 2015. That was called Second Time Around. And I'm about, I don't know, halfway through, I would say, putting this new together.
Good stuff.
Marvellous, wonderful. Well, while we're talking about music, Chris, there's a 100-year-old gentleman who's recorded a version of Keep Right On, and he wants to raise £1,000. We're already over that £1,000, so we, here at the Tilton Talk Show, want to push it tonight, if we can, to 1,500. He's 100 years old, right? Okay, so that means he was born in 1921.
Before you.
All right?
Before you.
Have you got the details of his name, Chris? Have you got it? Because I can't find it.
I'll get it up.
You'll get it. Okay.
Yeah.
100 years old, and this gentleman wants to raise enough money. I don't know what he's raising it for, actually. I literally saw it 2 minutes before the show and didn't really have time to digest what was going on. Played the tune, obviously. It's a great version of Keep Right On as well. And he even says, when it says Keep Right On to the end from the bend, which is where we've all been going at the minute, isn't it? But it'd be great if we at the Tilton Talk Show and you guys out there could do your bit and get this guy up to £1,500.
Yeah. I believe it's, I think it's for Help for Heroes, Nick.
I beg your pardon?
Help for Heroes. I think that's
yes,
what
it
it's
is.
for.
Yes, it
And
is.
I think the gentleman's name is it Charlie Pallett?
Yes, Charlie. Thank you.
Yes,
indeed. I should have written it down earlier, but I was lit at a time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, so
nobody's got the who yet. Ray Hobro's gone for Nigel Glegor, and I'm going to give the first clue. He played with Nigel Glegor.
Ooh, that era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any idea, Gilly?
Any thoughts, Craig?
It's a real tough one.
It's hard.
He's obviously talking about academy players either staying or getting released. So that might be a clue. I'm not too sure. I'd be quite intrigued to find out who it is, actually.
So no, then.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ray's got it. Ray Hobro's got it. It's Vince Overson.
And it sounds nothing like Vince Everson, does it?
Have you got it yet, Paul?
Yep, someone's got it. Yeah, Ray Hobro was first with Vince Overson. Yeah.
Oh, Vince, yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So Gilly, tell us about what you've been doing during the lockdowns, then, with your coaching and stuff.
Yeah. So obviously, as part of the community trust, it's been quite difficult because, as we're all aware, we haven't been able to do much grassroots activity, and lockdown's been stopping and starting. We're just starting to get back on our feet now. I've been doing a lot of virtual coaching sessions. So we did, during the February half term, a virtual camp live from St Andrews every day. So that was brilliant. We had 32 young people sign up for the virtual camp. So that was excellent. And then every Saturday morning, live from St Andrews again, from 10 till 10:30, I've been running a free Saturday morning coaching session. Where we've had anything in between. I think we had 64 on Saturday just gone, and we've had up to 170, 180 that people that have been filtering in and filtering out. So we've been doing that, and then we've just been getting various things up and running. So we're about to launch the back end of this week a 19 to 24 traineeship, where the people that sign up for that can obviously gain some qualifications, some real life qualifications. So we've linked with a local rail network company, Vital Birmingham, or Vital Human Resources, based in Tyseley. So we'll get these people in 1924, anyone that's out of work, bring them into St Andrews, put them on a 12-week traineeship. As part of that, then they get a full qualification where they can go and work on the rail, and be employed ultimately, and go back into some sort of work. So we're trying to help those, as we said, the unemployed in the city. We're also offering sports traineeships where we'll offer some sports coaching as well. And then we've still got our disability programs that I know obviously you guys have supported before, and our degree and 16 to 19 programs, where we've still been doing all their online lessons during lockdown. We're just about to go back to training on Wednesday as part of their PE curriculum. But yeah, we're still doing all that, so we're still fairly active.
How do you go regarding funds, Craig? How do you go regarding funds? You still trying to get the funds in yourselves, or is it?
Yeah, so we are obviously part of Birmingham City Football Club, but we're the registered charity for the football club. So our role for the football club is to go out, offer provision to young people, where we can try and go and make a difference to those in our local community. We're just about to start a charity walk, so that's going to be on St George's Day. So again, we'll get some information out on social media, but from the help of you guys as well. And I've got to give you guys a massive shout out for obviously donating and sponsoring some of the football camps, where every child that attends the football camp during the Easter half term will be given obviously an Easter egg, a calendar, a Birmingham City calendar, and then various other prizes as well. We're looking to do some shirt giveaways and things such as that. And that's just been obviously from you guys. So a massive thank you from myself and all the staff at the Community Trust for making that donation over the last few days. It's been brilliant.
Brilliant. But we also have to give massive thanks to every single person out there that listens, watches, because I've got a feeling that you may be getting a few more contributions soon.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it is a fun thing. We're all together. I mean, a lot of people who watch this show, they're the donators. So
they are, yeah.
It is a family thing. Yeah, we're all in it together.
We're all in it. From us as a community trust, there's a lot of us that are massive blues fans, and as I said, and we keep saying it, we want to do well. We want to give back to the community. I posted something on social media. I think it was yesterday or the day before, from a parent whose 8-year-old son attended our virtual camps, and they said it'd been really difficult during lockdown. He'd struggled, etc., with all the homeschooling. And by doing what we did during the half term, it gave him a massive lift and a massive boost. That's and brilliant. Like we all say as staff at the Community Trust, we want to give back to the community. I'm a massive Birmingham fan. I was brought up in Sheldon. My parents were brought up in Smallheath and Acotts Green, and I want to give back to our local community. And by seeing that message either 24, 48 hours ago, gave me a massive boost going into the workplace this week. And obviously all the staff at the Community Trust and the football club appreciate all the people's support on the Tilton Talk Show. So no, thanks.
Well,
guys.
from myself, I'm sure Ian, from Mark, from Paul, and from Chris, and from every single person who watches and listens to these shows, well done.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
You do a
You know what?
you do a fantastic job.
Heads up to you, bud, for doing so.
And you don't stop working. You're always working.
It's one of them. If you're a fan, it's like Dance will tell you. If you're a fan, it's in your blood. You don't give up, and we strive for the best. Like I said, we're launching these traineeships, and someone said to me the other day, "But you're a football club. Why are you doing rail qualifications?" And I said, "Listen, you look out there now at the amount of work on HS2 and things such as that. We've got to be a little bit different to other football clubs." So, as I said, with one of my good friends who you guys know, Ian Connor at the Porty Labour.
Yeah.
What a man.
Top man.
He's the rail manager for Vital, and we sat down and we just said, "Listen, let's be a little bit different. Let's try and run something where we can get more people in the local community in between those 19 to 24 ages back into employment, back into work, and try and make this the best community trust that we can do, and something that's a little bit different." And that's what we're looking to do. So if there is anyone out there, guys, that's interested in anything like that, we'll be launching it back end of this week. It will start within the next month. Get yourself on the course. It's all funded, so it's free of charge, and get yourself out there, and we'll help and support you.
Great.
Sounds
My
fantastic.
birthday.
Sounds
Applaud you,
fantastic.
mate. I absolutely applaud you. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. You do a great job. Fantastic.
Great
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Ian, this is what this show and we are all about. It is all about everybody else, the community. I've got no status or whatsoever, neither is Chris, Mark, or Paul.
I have.
And we don't want any. You know, we're Birmingham City fans, and it's in the blood, and it's making my hairs stand up on my arms again. Just in my head, even my head's got goosebumps. What? Just need to mention that word. It's been 12 months since I've heard a proper rendition of Keep Right On. 12 months since we've heard that live, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully we're coming out of this awful, awful dog, can't say the other word, of the last 2 years. Yeah? The last 12 months.
It seems like 2 years. It seems like 2 years.
Just the worst. Dance, you know what, mate? I'm 60 on Christmas Day. I've never mentioned my birthday's Christmas Day. I'm 60 this year, 60, right?
Yeah.
I might not have many seasons left in me, and I've missed one, and it hurts and it hurts and it hurts, and it's like, I can't explain it. It's just like somebody's taken a big part of your life away. Your life, not in terms of a death or anything like that, but it's just that thing that you look forward to on a weekend. Win, lose or draw. If we lose, I'll come back and kick the cat and throw a toilet roll at the missus. If we win, well, you can speak to me for the rest of the week. You know what I mean?
I need to hear this, and I need to keep hearing it because, of course, I'm in a really privileged position that I'm getting to go to Stadia still. Later. Yeah. I'm off to Blackburn tomorrow night.
Nobody there at the minute. I'll be honest with you.
Sorry?
I don't think I'd want to go with nobody there at the minute.
Well,
must be strange.
you have
the click of it.
It's horrible in that sense. It is what it is. There's the way it ought to be, and there's the way it is. I'm having to deal with the way it is at every ground I visit.
Yeah.
And there's ways and means in which you can approximate the job that you do. For example, when I'm at a game, I have the option. My producer can feed fake effects into my headphones. Yeah. That I can commentate against. So you feel like, you're fighting against something. Because in reality, once the whistle's gone, whether there are fans in the stadium or not, my concentration is on that pitch. On what's happening on it.
Tunnel vision, yeah.
So I've had to wrestle with that. And yes, you feel very self-conscious about the fact that you're going to work at a stadium that everybody else wants to go to and can't.
Yeah.
it's horrible, and
but without you there, at least, or and, people in your industry, without you guys there,
no, but you still
anyway.
You still have that incredibly self-conscious feeling because you arrive at where was I?
I'm here and nobody else is.
Yeah.
You go to a place like Reading, where I was on Saturday, and Reading is a ground which is notorious for being almost impossible to get away from after full time, because there's just that one road out back to the A33, takes you an hour to get back to the motorway, the M4, or whichever way you want to go. But of course, now you finish the game, you don't do any post-match interviews, you pack your equipment up, you get in your car, and you're straight back on the motorway, and it's
wow. See, we don't see this. You know what I mean?
Bizarre. Because it's eerie, and Reading it's got massive car parks, which are normally there's not a space to be had, and you pull your car into the media car park, which is just opposite the hotel that's on the complex. You can almost see the tumbleweed blowing across the car park.
Yeah.
But I take your point, Nick. In my position, you have to go in there, and you're being a professional. You're a professional. You've got to go in there because you're there in place of the thousands of people that want to be there and can't.
Not only in place, Ian.
So I have to keep,
not only in place of. Sorry, not only in place of, but on behalf of as well.
Yes. So I've probably concentrated more than ever in the last 8 or 9 months since Project Restart kicked in June on my commentaries, and really, doubled down on making sure I do the right things and I don't waffle, and I actually describe the action of what's going out in front of me, rather than just getting knee deep in stats and things like that really aren't interesting. My job is to, allow those people into the stadium in a strange kind of way. The responsibility isn't lost on me. I can promise you that.
No, I know.
And the one of the few grounds I haven't been to since Restart is St Andrews. Actually, I've not had the chance to go.
Won't get in the Cop or the Tilton. They're both falling down.
Yes, well, apparently so. But the main stand, oddly enough, is still hanging in there. But
Ray Hobro main stand. It's the Ray Hobro main stand.
Yeah, we call it Ray Hobro stand. Yeah.
Right. Corrected.
So you both. Sorry,
I really want to know the answer to this. I've been dying to ask you for ages. Right? Okay. How the hell do you remember all these players' names? I can't even remember our own team half the time.
Well, what I've got here, I've got a load of notes here that I've got written down because I'm off to Blackburn Swansea tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I've got, that's just basics about the game. That's all the other games that are going on tomorrow night. So if a goal goes in League One, League Two, I know what's happening. And then I've got individual squad lists for Blackburn and Swansea, and it's
You prepare.
They're the names of the supporters.
Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. That's right. But the thing is, because I write it down, I don't, type it out. I don't use apps or anything. I'm pretty old school. It actually helps commit it to memory a little bit better, in fairness, Nick. So, and you do get to see teams more than once. I've seen Swansea 3 or 4 times this season. I've seen Norwich 3 or 4 times, Bristol City 4 or 5 times. It's just the way it's fallen. You get set to a.
I get that, but I just can't. If a team came to Blues, I wouldn't know one of their players. Not one. No.
Well, but that's the thing. Yeah. I probably would have been the same as you, Nick, going into the mid '90s. I got the job at BRMB. Within a year, I was working for Tom as a reporter, off-air commentator, and then a commentator. And right from the off, you were doing off-air commentaries, even if you were just doing updates.
Got ya. Yeah.
At Walsall, which is the first club I started reporting on when Ray Graydon was manager, you were doing off-air commentary because they had tape machines running on all the games back at base. So I had to have knowledge. Chesterfield were the first team I saw Walsall play back in 1999, I think it was. So I had to do prep on them. And this is very early days of the internet. So there wasn't the plethora of football websites to get the information you needed. You basically
Right.
had the club websites, which were pretty Spartan and pretty basic at the time. And I remember I did a shed load of prep on Chesterfield. You know, I knew what, you know, Daryl Morris had for tea on Tuesdays, that sort of thing. And then they run out for the game Walsall in their red shirts with the white numbers on the back, and Chesterfield run out in these kind of navy blue shirts with a light pinstripe and cherry numbers on the back. Couldn't make out a single number. Could not make out a single flipping number. It took me 25 minutes to work out who was who. But luckily, no goals had gone in by that time. But that was the start of it, Nick. That was the start, having to have that knowledge about everybody who's on the pitch, and it just develops and develops over time. And trust me, if you're doing it every week, if you're doing it every 2 or 3 days, your knowledge increases exponentially.
Second nature, doesn't it? I would imagine. Have you ever dropped any funny clangers, Ian? Like said any players' names wrong or anything like that?
Yeah,
go on.
Just recently, I think I regularly referred to the Liverpool right back as Trent Alexander-Armstrong.
Sounds like a singer from the 1980s.
So I did the old pointless reference by mistake for him. You always have to be careful with certain players. Jack Hunt and Kenny Lunt were 2 players.
It's a nightmare, man.
Careful with.
Yeah.
So you, in terms of Jack Hunt, you have to make sure you usually stick with just the surname. If you're saying it quickly, you're in trouble. And Kenny Lunt, who used to play for Crewe, you might remember that name.
Remember it?
It got into your head that you'd switch the first letters around the wrong way, and you'd be in, it'd be all over.
Is it because you're overthinking? Like, don't do it. Don't.
Absolutely, yeah. You're overthinking it. You put yourself under pressure, and that can be a recipe for disaster. So,
Which it's 9:15. Paul, take us away on the 1 to 11. I'll think of the last 15 whilst you're doing it. Quick.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, so Ian and Gilly, we've asked you both to do your 1 to 11, haven't you? So, Gilly, do you want to go first? So this is your 1 to 11 from the players you've seen play for us. We'll do quick fire.
Quick fire then. So 1 to 11, Benno in goal. So Ian Bennett, Gary Rowett, Liam Daish, Steve Bruce, Martin Granger.
Whoa.
Wow. What a back four that is.
Ryan Hughes, Stan Lazaridis, Martin O'Connor, and captain, and Jose Dominguez.
Oh.
With Christoph and Horse up top. And
Brilliant.
then on the bench, I'd have Ben Foster, Paul Devlin, Tacey, Graham Hyde, and Dele Adibola, with the manager.
We're going to win.
Subs.
Francis.
Who said we could have subs when that
I was saying I didn't do a bench.
No, he's just made that
I
up.
had to throw a
Yeah,
bench.
you wanted to get mates. You wanted to get some of your mates in, didn't you?
I couldn't leave Dev's Heidi, Deals, and Tatey out, could I?
Nah. Any team with Hughes in, that's got me.
It's a good team, mate. That is a lot of that. Very good.
Yeah.
Dan?
Okay, I went 4-4-2. There's a lot of similarities between mine and Gilly's, actually. Bennett is the goalkeeper. Dave Langan at right back. Joe Gallagher and Darren Pearce as the centre halves, and Martin Granger at left back. And then in midfield, I actually played Trevor Francis as right winger just so I could get him in and get 2 of the strikers in, because he played as a winger, but just as often as anything else. Robbie Savage and Brian Hughes in the middle. And Stan Lazaridis out left. And then Fussell and Dugarry as my strike force. So a 4-4-2, which could be a 4-3-3.
We're going to win the Champions League.
Captain?
Okay, that's 15 minutes.
Hang on. Captain.
Yeah, Percy was my captain.
Manager.
Percy would be captain, yeah.
Freddie Goodwin.
The manager, yeah. Okay.
What a bloke. Proper.
Thanks for that. Very good team.
As you know, ladies and gents, girls and boys, Ian Danter is with us from Talk Sports tonight. Is creating his own album. So it's anything to do with being on stage, right? And football. Anything to do with being on stage and football, or anything to do with being in the whole theatre arena, okay? And football. Off you go. Okay. Let's see how you do tonight.
Lots on the shout box regarding the teams, both saying class teams, both of you. Siobhan says, what a team for both.
Yeah.
A brilliant 1 to 11, says Ray.
Yeah, I bet it was tough, Gilly, picking between Gary Rowett and Stephen Carr, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was tough picking a lot of positions. To be fair, I had to actually phone a friend. I got my dad. I had to get my dad on the phone and say, "Yeah, Dad, give me a hand at this." I only had a quick 45 minutes notice. Yeah, we went through it. As I said, my mum and dad took me all over the shop with my brother as well. So that's
I had the same problem. I had loads bubbling under, like Devs, as you mentioned, Gilly. You know, Devs was definitely in there as somebody who was brilliant for us. Malcolm Page, I could have picked him at centre half. Or he could have played anywhere actually. Malcolm Page.
Oh my God! How do they do this? Right, are you ready for this slide? Okay, they're flying in. We've got Stage Lazaridis, Mike Taylor, Mike Stand Lazaridis, Jurgen Flop. Jeremy shouted out, "Come on!"
It's his birthday. It's his birthday today.
Oh yeah, I read that. It's his birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy
Jeremy.
birthday.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeremy. Come on, Blues. Happy birthday to you. Here we go. Curtin Davis. Oh. Stephen Red Carpet.
I can see the winner.
Robbie Lily Savage. Actor Bellerin.
Nigel Glegg Frenchhorn.
Marco Grease Painter. I want one that's going to make me laugh, guys. I want one that's going to take me down.
Yeah, Colleen Boyley card.
You want to get my missus on this one because when she goes to football, she embarrasses me. She was a dancer and she changes various things. So a red card and a yellow card is a ticket. So you a return ticket and it's crazy. A program's a brochure. The pitch is the stage. I have all sorts of random things. It's just so embarrassing.
What's your most embarrassing moment on air, Ian?
Easy that. I threw up on air.
No.
Did you? You must be commentating at Villa Park.
No. This I'll tell you. I'll keep the story as brief as I can. But
yeah, please.
I played the gig in Stourbridge the night before with the Kiss tribute band I used to be in, and they fed us pizzas at the end of the night. And I must have had a dodgy slice of pizza because I drove home, got up the next morning early to drive to London, and I was feeling a bit queasy all the way down. I was on air at midday with Jason Cundy and Alvin Martin. That was the show I used to do. So we're going back to about 2008, 2009 sort of time. And we're about 20 minutes into the show, and I'm suddenly feeling really, really queasy. And there's a massive dustbin just to my right that we used to put used texts and emails in, a piece of paper with all that in there.
Chris has got one under his desk in case he needs to go for a wee.
And so I was asking Jason a question about club versus country. I asked him the question, and as I finished asking the question, I thought, this is it. And I just leant over and blew chunks into this thing. The next thing I remember, I woke up in what we used to affectionately call Trap 2, which is one of the toilets just outside the entrance to the program. I was in the fetal position. Apparently, I'd been sick, thankfully, just into the bin, but I'd then collapsed on the floor, crawled to the toilet, and then they put me into the green room. But yeah, there's a clip that's never been aired on Talk Sport since by Richby and Jacobs. I know it exists because it's been played to me. You can just faintly hear the spattering against the black bin liner.
I'll tell you what, Dan's green room was appropriate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What, sorry?
Green room was appropriate.
Oh yeah, very green. But I had to drive home that night as well, so I was feeling really bad. Drove home, and I think it was a night that Greece qualified for a World Cup or something, and I got stuck in traffic for an hour because there were Greek fans celebrating in central London.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Was it after they won the Euros in 2004?
No. It was later than this. I think they qualified for a World Cup or something. It might have been 2000.
Sure?
Okay.
Are you sure it wasn't the day after the Leyland Cup final?
No, it wasn't. But that was a horrible. That was a 24-hour norovirus thing,
right?
Because the next day I went home, went to sleep, got up the next day, I felt okay. So it was a 24-hour thing, but. That actually, that was pretty embarrassing. But at that, Jason Cundy ended up doing his first ever show as a presenter that day rather than a pundit because he had to take over from me. So, he always has to credit me with starting his broadcasting career. Whilst I'm talking to Huey and Ralph on the big white telephone.
Oh, brilliant.
That many mobile
Okay, we've
phones around.
we've got hotter chocolate at the interval. Andy Breaker, Steve Bruce Forsyth, Walter Panto Diani,
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Compare Groves, Interval Milan. I like that one.
That's a
pretty
good one.
pretty catchy.
Yeah.
Script on together.
Say that again. Say that again.
Bally Fry. Oh, it's Ombro again. Oh my God, he's got a stand named after him. He's that famous. Oh,
Yeah.
He's gone. He's going to go when he sees this one.
Understudy on Dublin. Ding dong bell. Ding dong bell. Don't get that one. David Sylvia, the conductor. All right. Okay. Kevin Broadway. That's not a bad one. Jonathan Spectator. That's not the Quincy Proms.
What about Rigobert's song?
Variety performance.
He's gone.
Joe Royal.
That's the winner. That's the winner. That is. That's definitely the winner.
The Joe Royal variety performance.
That's a good one.
Oh my god. Dealey Abadola. I don't get that one. Neil
ABBA,
Dan.
it's a band, isn't it? ABBA?
Yeah. Oh dear. They never fail week after week after week. They never fail. They never let the side down, I promise you. And we've had some right random last 15 minutes. Matt Green Room.
What about Alex Song?
Yeah, Alex Song, yeah. Earth, Wind and Maguire. Earth, Wind and Maguire.
I thought we were going to get
Did you see Alex Song in his taxi turn up to the training ground?
Yeah.
Bit of an odd and wingy moment, that wasn't it? When Harry was trying to get him, yeah.
I was just asking Gilly if he was at the training ground when he turned up in his A to B taxi.
No, I wasn't, to be fair.
Paul?
Hey?
Who was that?
Alex Song.
Oh, yeah.
You
know what? That was an iconic Tilton Talk moment, that wasn't it, Chris? Brilliant.
It was, yes. One never to forget.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Stand up, Lazaridis.
Stand up, Lazaridis. Like
It's the opposite in home, isn't it?
Half-time intervalery.
Oh, God. I've come over all unnecessary. Stand up, Lazaridis. You did that. Oh, God. Who did it, Chris?
Brett Stanley.
Brett Stanley. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, Brett. I'm overcome with emotion. Oh, golly. Right, okay. Oh,
Compose yourself, Nick.
I know. All right.
Try and pretend you're a
We didn't get a win against Barnsley. We certainly didn't get a draw. So next game is
You forgot.
Bristol City.
I'd be no good as a commentator, would I?
You'd be no good at this. You are no good at this.
Oh man, they've really done me tonight, mate. I promise you. Oh God, I'm sweating like a pig. Honestly. Oh dear. Right, next up is who? Bristol City. Right, Bristol City. That's got to be at home, surely, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it is at home. Yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of Bristol City lately, both the back end of Dean Holden's time, and I saw.
Sorry, Ian, can you put the accent on, mate?
No. Because we know.
So I saw the back end of Dean Holden's time, and I saw Nigel Pearson get the 3-1 win at Swansea. Obviously, he's suffered a little bit since then, but his first game in charge went well enough. They won't. Well, they were playing 3 at the back when he arrived, but he'll play 4 because Nigel Pearson, kind of in his managerial career, has always kind of played 4 at the back and then built it from there. Jay Dew and Wells were striking up a decent partnership that I saw. They're missing a few creative players. Callum O'Dowd has been out for some time, who's normally really good in their central midfield. Jamie Patterson, who's at Walsall, is another one that normally can create, but he's been in and out of the side. They had a kid playing left back or left wing back, Riley Towler, who was only 18, who Watford definitely got at in a game I saw. So if he plays, whoever plays on our right, should try and get behind him, expose him, and get him behind. But they're pretty solid, Bristol City. Solid if unspectacular.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, then score prediction.
That'll be a 1-1, I think.
1-1. Chris Brown.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Bristol.
Mark Adams.
I'm going to go for a 0-0.
0-0 draw. Craig.
I'm going for a draw.
Okay, Paul.
2-1 Blues.
2-1 Blues. I can't see us getting anything from it, I'm going to be honest with you, so I'm going to go 0-1. And I know it's depressing, and it's not normally like me, but there you go. Hey, what can I say? It's a long road, isn't it, Ian?
It is a long road.
Yes. But again,
hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully by August we might start slowly getting back in, no matter what league we're in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. It's crossed for the last 5 minutes to remember something, and I forgot what I was trying to remember already.
Absolutely.
Just the way I like.
We're trading you in, definitely.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. You traded me in. What are you going to get? A clapped out 1967 Skoda.
A good one from Pete Taylor here. Les Ferdinand Miserables.
Miserables.
Yeah.
Ian Downstage Danter. Ryan Giggs.
Oh,
2 minutes to 9 already in, and an hour and a half gone.
Where the hell's that?
It's not an hour and a half. Won't get back because this is recorded and it goes out on Switch FM tomorrow night as well.
Yeah.
Switch FM all across Birmingham tomorrow night. So if you're driving home tomorrow night, you better listen to this back in your car.
Yeah.
What a show this has been. You know what? Great memories. We've talked about Wembley. We've talked the Ipswich, the West Ham game. You're throwing up in a bin.
That's showbiz, folks.
The last 15 minutes, 1-11, you gentlemen, and I'll tell you what teams they were. My goodness me, well done for coming up with those names.
Brilliant.
You advantage chance because you can remember Joe Gallagher.
Well, that's the first team I remember, and that kind of sticks with you. When there
he
was
played in the first game my daddy ever took me to. My dad held my hand up the Coventry Road, 1973 against Newcastle, and I fell in love that day, and I've never been out. Never, ever, ever. Changed the wife, changed the car, changed the house. Same football team.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Been an absolutely cracker of a show tonight. Brilliant. I've had a right good laugh as well, and picked up on some great memories. Mark Adams, thank you ever so much. Mr. Robe.
Right.
You're hanging that
Hope
robe.
everybody has a good week. Hey?
Do you use that robe in the week, or does it just come out on a Monday?
It comes out on special occasions, like a Monday night.
Monday birthdays and christenings and things like that.
Yes, and I've had a shave as well.
I know, you look fresh.
I know. It's put 10 years on you.
I said before we came on air, it looks like Chris in the 80s.
I'll tell you what, I think it was 91 before I got my haircut, so.
Oh, no, I think
like the side parting today.
Just very quickly, Gilly, I bet you've seen some funny things, ain't you, behind the scenes? And any very quick funny pranks you can tell us about?
Ones that I was involved in or ones that I weren't involved in?
Whatever you want, man.
Ones that won't get you in trouble. Ones that won't get you in trouble.
There's a few that probably would get me in trouble.
Save it for another day. Save it for
I might
another
have
day.
to save it for another day.
Yeah.
I'd love to say that involves our old kit man who's now at Cardiff, but I think he'd probably kill me if I said anything about that one. But I know he's listening tonight, and I know that he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to save that one till another day.
All right.
I'll tell you what, the live stream goes up and we're just 6 people talking together. Okay, we've got to go because it's time, ladies and gents. Awfully sorry, we could have talked all night, to be perfectly honest with you. Paul Hipkiss, thank you ever so much for your input once again.
No problem, pleasure as always.
You know what? It only seems like 2 minutes ago when we said hello to everybody.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Craig on Fancam.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Oh, was that it? You're that enthusiastic, guy.
Yeah, cheers,
You know, I love coming on this.
Listen, you're welcome anytime.
Chat with you guys. I'll come on anytime you want me to. No bother at all.
You're part of the family, mate. You know that. You know that. Everybody's part of the family. Happy birthday to Jeremy. Jeremy's birthday, ladies and gents. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Hold on. And from Mrs. Brown.
Good evening. Goodbye. Sounds nothing like Mrs. Brown, does it?
God bless. Keep right on. Keep the faith. It's difficult. But from the one and only Trevor Francis.
Don't forget me. I suppose you can, but keep right on.
Brilliant. Chris, you want to dig the original one out that he did for us?
It's not as good. I must admit, it's not as good as the original one.
Icon. He's a national treasure in everybody's eyes. The one and only Mr. Ian Danter. Thank you so very much, mate. Brilliant. What an hour and a half that's been. Cracking, superb. Thanks to God bless, and take care, everybody. Stay safe, and let's get back to the ground soon.
Good night.
Good night, all.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day.